Welcome back to Uzaki-chan Anime Review. Who's wants to hang out? Anime Review episode number 11. Now you're probably thinking, wow, it's been 2 years since you did an episode review for this series. For good reason. They apparently didn't release a second season just like a couple weeks ago. As of currently, they just released, I think, like episode 3 of the season, which is technically the 15th episode of the series. Now, this episode adapts from chapter 35, 38, and 37, 38. Now, mostly in the case of 35, it just basically just recapping some stuff that happened in the previous season. Starts out with Uzaki, where they start. Now, here's the thing about this episode. I was listening to this episode. I was watching the episode, and I noticed that Sakurai, his voice sounds different. I'm like, that's not Rico. And I looked up. Apparently, there was voice matching. I don't know if Rico was not available for this episode. I'm not sure what happened. We have David Magnolia basically doing this episode for some strange reason as a voice matcher. Now, I'm not really sure exactly what the heck that means because even though I'm interested in this stuff about voice acting, but I don't know what the heck that means. If I get a chance to talk to any of the voice actors that I've talked to on Twitch, I might ask them, what the heck does that mean, voice matching? They might know the answer because they're basically tons of voice actors. So, in the case of this episode, we just started with him in the snow. We started basically, Uzuki's like blushing. There's constant implied the fact these two have a couple. They really are not at this point. I have read currently up to date in the manga where I'm going to spoil it right now. They're a couple in the manga. Yep, they became a couple with chapter 73. That's a bit of a spoiler, but the thing is, Uzuki's Hangout is not that big of a series. I mean, the only reason why I found out about it is it was basically a recommendation from Funimation a couple years ago. And plus, also, I was very familiar with the lead voice actress, Monica Rial, and I met her I believe it was just this year at MegaCon Orlando. And I actually did talk to her about this series a little bit, where I told her that Rico really enjoyed working with her on this series. And she very much appreciated the fact I brought him up and Chris Guerrero. Now, I've never met Rico Fajero or Chris Guerrero in person. I've never met him. As a matter of fact, Chris Guerrero, I've seen pictures of him. I've just never met him. In the case of Rico, I basically have occasionally popped on a Twitch stream, but usually focus on my video game before occasionally chatting while I'm basically. Occasionally, he might chip in to basically what I'm putting on his chat for his stream, but normally he doesn't really pay attention to that very much because he wants to focus on the game, unless it's just a chatting only. Unless it's a chat, let's chat thing. Yeah, so. There's basically the kind of a montage, a little bit of basically the summer stuff from the previous season of the show, just to give a recap. And then, of course, Uzuki is like very sad, and then Sakurai pops in. Now, I should point out in the manga, she never refers to called by Sakurai. That is something only exclusively in the English dub for the anime. In the case of the sub, I actually did hear a little bit. As far as I can tell, she does call him senpai in that one, but she does not call him that in the dub. Nope. She refers to him as her senior in high school, or at least upperclassman, but never refers to him as senpai. Never does. Excuse me, because English dub, that's why. So, after being depressed, then they decide to go bowling. Yes, going bowling. Probably thinking, wait, what about 36? 36 I'll save for next episode, don't worry about that. So they go bowling, and of course they bowl for a while. It's mostly as accurate as the manga. And of course they basically play video games all night long to a point where actually wait, that comes a little bit later. Because first basically comes when next comes when Ami decides to close the shop up and have Uzaki and Sakurai cosplay. Mostly just Uzaki dressed up in various attires. The first two are maid outfits. There's also bunny attire and various different outfits they reveal a little bit later. Sakura apparently all he got is hot pants. And then her father comes back, and then she's forced to wear the bunny attire. Yes, he forces his own daughter to wear the bunny attire that she wanted Uzaki to wear. Yes. Not really sure what was the purpose of this, just that she really wants to see some cosplay in the shop. And she was asked about it a little later, and by the next thing, then we have both the video game stay up all night. Now, there's a minor change here, mostly, where they do change basically where Hana's mom, but maybe Hana's mom does show up, and the only way her father shows up is that she fantasizes putting the mother and daughter in basically wet t-shirts. Yeah, that's when he comes back. But in the case of what the video game thing, it's mostly there, except they cut out the bit of, well, you see Sakurai's wearing glasses. They basically cut that out of the anime. They basically play till 2 o'clock in the morning. They don't mention at what time it is in the manga. They bring it up in the anime. And then, of course, Hana's mom comes in. And, of course, they do change kind of basically where she's... Where I can tell reading the manga, I think as far as I can tell, they did keep... I think they changed where her hand is. Because I think the door opened the manga to the right. And then it opens to the left for some reason. Don't know why. And, of course, there's also bringing it back to she's yelling. Now, in the manga, she says, you have school tomorrow. And in the anime, she says, do you know what time it is? So then, in the manga, it's not exactly mentioned exactly what time. They add a little bit more dialogue here, where Hana really wants to save her game, but her mom tries to unplug the game. Yep, and of course, Sakurai just basically sleeps through first period, and then go to the very recurring common area we actually have in the series, where they go this. It's just basically this little bench area, this cushion bench, where there's vending machines near, where he just sleeps there after she basically ran her mouth off by him. Of course, she just sleeps there too. And of course, take a picture. And of course, they just sleep side by side. In the manga, they actually have it where Sakurai's hand goes goes basically on her belly while they're both asleep, and everyone thinks they're dating, even though they're really not at this point. And that's the episode. It's a pretty good episode, not bad per se, but we're gonna get more of this basically. Now, do I think this? Now, the case the first season of the show, it was only 12 episodes. This season could presumably be 12 episodes. In case you're curious, though, how many chapters are there for the manga? There have been currently, I did catch up with the manga. I was actually a little bit behind. The last chapter I had read was chapter 67. So I caught up with the manga, and it was roughly 20 chapters behind. I'm like, okay, interesting, because it's been a couple years since I read the damn thing. So I caught up with the manga really quickly. And the most recent chapter that came out was 87. Now, in case you're curious, though, how far by episode 15 do they adapt to? Well, they're pretty much, in a way, already into basically past chapter 40. Yeah, so, excuse me, at that point, it's roughly, I would probably say about halfway through the manga. Yes, I definitely do say so. Yeah, I'd say probably about halfway through the manga at this point. Because, well, now this season will basically see the debut of Uzaki. Now, Uzaki's, Hana herself, her mom, has already appeared in the series. Basically, we'll see the debut of her brother and sister, and her father. Yes. If you're curious, though, her father, Fujiko, he makes debut in chapter 47. So, there's a strong possibility that he could appear this season. Yes. As for her sister, yeah, she'll appear too, no problem. But I would probably say that they're all going to appear by chapter, they basically all first appear mostly in chapter 47, 48-ish. But they're probably going to get to it, no problem. Especially since like I said, by episode 15. Now, next episode only covering 2 chapters. That's basically for episode 15. Yeah. 14 is basically, let's see, 15 is basically 3 episodes for each episode. Next week is only 2. Don't know exactly what's the purpose of that, but yeah, they're probably including these characters sort of like their first official appearances per se. I am curious though who they're going to cast as the dub actors for, basically for Hana's brother and sister, and her father. Which the guy, in case you're curious still about Hana's father, he's pretty much he's basically, you can kind of describe him as a meathead, kind of. The guy is a freaking bodybuilder, just like Sakurai. Yes, they're both bodybuilders. They both work out. They can think of him as gymnasts. No, not the case. Basically, dancing. The fact they you can think of him as a bodybuilder. Yeah, and here's the thing: Hana's father is 47 years old, while his wife, Hana's mom, is 44 and looks great for her age. Yep. But not much else to say about this episode. But there's that. Now, I did finish reading Both Free book number 3. I am going to review the 3 episodes of that particular book tomorrow, along with the Comic Corner. Yep. And I'm also going to be reviewing also The Great Zhao Will Not Be Defeated and Girlfriend. Those videos will come tomorrow. Roughly about 4 videos coming tomorrow. The only reason why I'm able to just do one tonight because of time. That's mostly the reason for it. So you can probably find more videos coming tomorrow. Roughly, like I said, roughly about 4 or 5 videos coming tomorrow. Thursday, I'm not sure. It depends. Do I think Comic Corner is coming? No. I highly doubt it. Especially since I'm pretty much almost all graphic novels anyway. So if there is one coming Thursday, it's a maybe on that part. But who knows. But until you see the next video, bye.